Saturday sprint. Cares, he goes from 7th on the grid. Yamaha struggling as the home brand's humbled on home turf so far by yet more European domination. It's all eyes though on Martin and Bagnaia side by side on the grid. Blown the field away in our last 2 Super Saturdays. Can he make it a hat-trick, which will just build more pressure on Bagnaia? Bagnaia needs some bounce-back ability, doesn't he, after he crashed out of 2nd place. So sprint on the way in the Grand Prix of Japan. Jorge Martin does absolutely nail the start of pole position. Jack Miller's made a superb launch as well on the factory KTM. He's going to slip up the inside of Pekka Bagnaia. Also away with an aggressive on the inside of both Bezzecchi and Bagnaia. Be creeping down to just 7 points. Martin then through this tight turn 9 on the very first lap. Now fire, another burst of acceleration towards the slowest part of this Motogp circuit. Top part of the course, turn 10, hard on the brakes for the first gear.
The KTM's up ahead.
Battered and bruised Bezzecchi after his high-speed get-off this morning at the start of Q2, going through turn 12. I just wonder how much of an impact that will be for him. He came over the line at the end of that first lap in 6th place, having started 4th. So, like Bagnaia
on board with at the moment, hard on the brakes. We know Bagnaia is good on the brakes. He seems to have found the solution to some of his braking woes lately. And so far around this lap, Bagnaia is starting to make steady inroads back into Jack Miller once again. He started the lap around 0.6 of a second behind him. His pain is in, but the points he's losing because Bezzecchi slipping away from the back of Johann Zarco. He's coming under pressure now from Aleix Espargaro.
Already on lap 3, Fabio Di Giannantonio has a track limits warning through the sweeping part of this Motogp circuit, through the high-speed
turns with Martin.
Yeah, still not as quick as Martin though, not much in it, but Martin, out of all those rides behind him, all 20 rides behind Jorge Martin did their PB laps on that lap number 3, but nobody was as fast as your race leader with a 140.
But he's now in a position where he does have something to lose, because he's now going to close the gap even further to Pekka Bagnaia. If you put the flag out now, he would virtually cut Bagnaia's lead in half.
Yeah, and Martin and Brinda are starting to break away here from Miller in 3rd. Bagnaia
around here for the first time in the sprint last time around. Binder was a shade quicker than Jorge Martin. We're only talking about 2/100ths of a second, but another personal best for the South African. Both Binder and Bagnaia were quicker than Martin on that 4th lap. It's up to 0.6 of a second now through the 3rd sector of this lap, and the 2 KTMs in general are fading a little bit at this stage, because you can see now from the air.
Just 7 points clear of Jorge Martin going into tomorrow's Moto Grand Prix of Japan. Could there be a scenario where out of nowhere Jorge Martin could be going to Lombok in Indonesia in 2 weeks' time as the new MotoGP World Championship? Lap 6 of 12, halfway through this Japanese Tissot sprint. Jorge Martin has the advantage of just over half a second. Nothing between Martin and Binder on that previous lap. They both exchanged 144 falls, although one of several riders had an early track limits warning. So Crutchlow was down 18th place. He had just set his go. That is brilliant by Marco Bezzecchi. There's nothing that Zarco can do about that. So Bezzecchi can here see, well, he can see currently ahead of him. Marquez fading, and he's eager to get on with this because Zarco has not been able to make a move on the Repsol man. So Bezzecchi goes, well, I'll take over. Give me a Japanese Grand Prix, when he ran away with it at the front on the factory Ducati. He seems to have been really galvanised, doesn't he, by this new carbon fibre chassis. Here comes Bezzecchi on the inside, potentially of Marquez going through the sweeping fast turn 7. There was no way through. Trying to find a way through to solving what's been a very complex puzzle right now. How do you get through on Jack Miller? 4 laps to go then in this Tissot sprint in Japan. Jorge Martin then now, for the first time, has an advantage of over a second. He dominated India. He's dominating at the moment as well here in Japan. So Bagnaia has to somehow find a way through on Miller. He pulls side by side, the brakes in. Down the hill we go into turn 11. He's got the inside line. Oh. Can he make it stop? That's going to be mighty. This has been from Jack Miller. We talked about what a defensive rider, what a brilliant defensive rider Pekka Bagnaia has been throughout this 2023 title defence, but this has been a stunning ride by Jack Miller. Aleix Espargaro, well, there's more.
He's now ahead of Miller before they turn into turn 12, and Miller, finally, his brave resistance is broken.
Boy, how hard has Pekka Bagnaia had to work for this 3rd place. Jack Miller was giving him such a tough time there. Now with clear track ahead.
Bezzecchi now up into 6th place, with Johann Zarco having broken clear of Marquez as Bezzecchi and Mark went wide into turn 11 a couple laps ago. That's probably as far as Bezzecchi is going to get up the order.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Marquez has got anything left to fight. To win that fourth place, a very hard-earned fourth, because he was nearly 6/10 clear of Zarco at the start of this final lap.
Yeah, we'll just check them through the first sector. You can see them in the back of the picture. Miller ahead of Zarco. It's 0.4 of a second through the first sector.
Wins in a row. I think Zarco is going to run out of time here. He's not going to be able to find a way through on Jack Miller. It's been a real strong TSO sprint here for Miller. They come under the tunnel for the final time. You can see there Jorge Martin powering to the finish line. It's a hat-trick of sprint wins. The two top men will start next week on the grid tomorrow. What a prospect that is. Martin's got
prospect, isn't it, for tomorrow? And Pecco Bagnaia will be well aware now that if he lets Jorge Martin get the start tomorrow, particularly if there's a KTM or
produce and get some of